YouTube, this is Darkon633. We're taking a look at the Digimon Universe Appli Monsters Appli Drive SP set. Now this is actually a really cool set, since it includes both the main device, which is the Appli Drive, and the Amiami band, as well as an exclusive SP version of Scopemon. So this is actually a cool set, except for one problem, which we'll get to in a minute. The box is pretty cool. It's actually pretty different than what I've seen in a lot of roleplay devices I've seen. It's got a lot more artwork all throughout the box, so there isn't really a place where it's kind of quiet. It's a very busy box. On the back it shows some of the functions that it can do, and pretty much works with all the other ones released throughout the lines. This is going to be working with the video game, it's going to work with the Gashapon, it's going to work with the candy toys, and it's obviously going to work with the standard booster box chips. Now we're going to take a look at something first, and that is the Amiami band. Now, unfortunately, I have to say, this is by far the worst roleplay toy from Bandai Japan in a long time, and that's mainly because it barely does anything. All it does is that it holds two chips, so it pretty much gets promoted that you just put in a standard chip like this. It doesn't really matter which way you put it, but it does promote that you should put it in like this, and that's about it. In the show, it doesn't really do anything, and it seems to only appear after they activated the full-on Appli Drive, since the main characters in the show use the same drive with a different plate. So unfortunately, this is pretty much useless. For an adult arm, it's really pitiful. It doesn't even fit me, even at the smallest setting, and that's really unfortunate, since a lot of the roleplay toys over the years, they've been able to be worn with the adults in mind. This one, on the other hand, doesn't, and I think it's pretty useless. We'll now take a look at the Amiami Appli Drive more closely. On the back, it does have a QR code, which I'm not quite sure what it does. I don't really know what all the promotions outside of the box say, since it's in Japanese, since I can't read it. But basically, to activate the device, pull this, and right here, it actually has an LED display. I think that looks really fantastic. To just activate the main device, what we're going to do is just put in any chip. So we're just going to put in Gashapon. So there we go. It does have a little bit of delay, but that's because it needs to read it. Since it does read ERA NFC firmware correctly. So there we go. There is some Japanese going here, but it's really hard to see. Even with the different light setups, it's really hard to actually pick up on the camera. But that's the really cool part about this, is that it actually has a full-on LED display, and each of the Amiami actually has its own ranking number, and that is 1000 for Gashapon, so that's really cool. Now we're going to take a look at some of the other features this device has, and that is rank mode, which you just press this button. Just goes through some of the stuff that I activated, since it kind of remembers a lot of the stuff that I've done. And then it just adds them up. So, and then it's got this really nice display there. And that's pretty much it. Otherwise, we'll now activate the fusion, also known as applink. So first, we're going to pull out Gashapon and put in Navimon. You can really put anything, and it's just going to combine whatever it is in front, but only a few actually become full-on new Amiami. So there we go. So the main Apgatai is Dogachimon, and that's really cool. Now, because of what happened in the show, they did go through like an error kind of fusion. You're also able to get Squashimon, but I've rarely been able to get that. Let me see if I can try to get that on camera here. So we're just going to place this in. If you activate this, it will actually go into the fusion with Dogachimon. So you shouldn't do that, since it's just going to keep on adding and so on and so forth. So to reset it, basically what you do is just click it, then reactivate. Sometimes it does that, so there we go. So yeah, we're going to reactivate it now. Now that we reactivate, we're able to use the applink once again. One thing that's about this particular device is that it's kind of annoying to activate different types of applinks, and that's because you do need to reset it by activating the other chip you want inside. Unfortunately, you cannot stop it halfway in order to fully read, since it actually needs to read it fully, so you do need to hear the sequence over and over again. Luckily, it does still have that really cool and really catchy jingle to go along with it, but it can get a bit tedious if you want to activate other fusions. Anyways, we're going to activate this once again. If you just use it with any other one, it's just going to do something like this. So we're just going to put in Cameraman. So, it's still hard to see, but there is a number, once again, for the fusion. And if you don't use the particular ones in order to activate the full-on new types of Appmon fusion, it will just add them up, and it'll say, for example, as you hear it here, you will get Gachimon plus Cameraman. However, if you activate the Appmon fusion again, it will actually read out the first one you activated if you don't activate the full-on applink. So we're going to quickly go with Navimon again, so we can hear Dogachimon again. And we're just going to quickly press the sides here, because for some reason, when I activate it like this, it actually changes it a bit. We'll look at it now. Now, it activates something called Dogachimon Burst, and it actually says it in English there with a really large number, since it seems like it's a very powerful fusion. I am not quite sure exactly what the burst is, and I've never really seen this on a review. I just happened to find it around while fiddling around with the device, and I think that's kind of weird that you just keep pressing the buttons, or it doesn't really matter if you press both, it just activates if you just keep pressing the buttons during the applink. It will activate that, and I think that's a very interesting thing that's happening there, but I'm not quite sure what it does. Anyways, now we're just going to quickly go through the standard ones. So we're going to activate Navimon instead of doing the applink. Since I don't really know Japanese, I'm not quite sure what it says outside of actually reading the subtitles that are on the show. And since it goes by so fast, I don't exactly remember what they state. But basically what it does is that it actually reads off a bunch of stats, and that's actually accurate to the show. And I think that's really cool that it's that interactive compared to some of the other Digivices. Or just Digimon-like devices. If you click this, with outside of a fusion, it'll just repeat it. So that's what happened there. I'm just going to apprealize Cameraman now. Then, finally, we're going to activate the final chip, which is actually the fusion of Caramon and one of the chips that were released in the first regular booster box, and that is Shotmon, I meant to say, sorry. So, we'll now activate this, and now this is Scopemon. Now, in the show, they're able to summon the chips that are based on their actual fusions, but it's unclear exactly what they do since they haven't really used the actual fusion chips in general just yet. What's cool about this is that it actually says Cho Apparize because it is the full-on super fusion technically outside of a regular Apparize, so that's really cool. So that pretty much covers what's actually included in the set. So this is a really awesome set, and it's so far the most interactive Digimon device we got in the roleplay line. Just looking at how the toy functions, it's full on a roleplay device first before anything else. A lot of the other previous devices throughout the years we've been getting were either full on virtual pets or just something close to like more mini games and so on and so forth. Obviously the American version of the crossloader was by far one of the worst we've gotten since it doesn't really have any electronic functions outside of reading the cards themselves. And while that is cool for a roleplay aspect, it's not accurate to the show, and it just really didn't work out as it was. I'm happy to actually get a hold of the set and some of the other chips in the first series so far. And I think this is definitely one of the better devices we got in the entire franchise. Especially since you're able to remove the plates with the other colored plates that were released not too long ago. So it's actually really cool, and it's a very interactive device we've gotten so far. The only thing that's really lame about the set is really the app band. And it's something that is shameful to be sold for around $10 to $15 at retail since it literally barely does anything besides the fact it holds 2 chips. If it at least had some electronic function, maybe some light ups, and even then it'll be kind of pushing it. Other than that, it's just a really lame device, and it's by far, in my opinion, one of the worst toys they released alongside of the roleplay devices I've ever seen for the franchise so far. Regardless, this is still definitely a recommended set to get, and really, it's really worth getting the set because of the extra chip, not so much for the app band. I got this in Amiami during, I think it was around the October release, so I actually got it pre-ordered before it went in stock, so it's really cool to actually get a hold of this device, and I highly recommend picking this up. Anyways, please comment, subscribe, and check out Hero Club and Hero Taku. Also check them on Twitter at Darkon633, and please don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe. Please check down the other channels down below, and I'll be back with more reviews. But for now, we're seeing you too. Bye.